Hi, my name is Phoenix Andrews, and today I will be showing you how to dig a hole. Now, the first step to digging a hole is making sure you have the right attire on. This means no shorts, no t-shirts, and God forbid, no bikinis. What you want to have on is clothing that will make sure you are warm and comfortable during your dig. For example, I have on a sweatshirt and sweatpants. Now, what is optional, but what I do recommend, is having a hat. Having a hat will keep you insulated because a lot of your heat is actually lost through your head and phalanges. Speaking of, I also recommend to carry mittens or gloves around. That way you are able to hold on to the shovel and make sure your hands stay warm throughout your entire dig. Now, the second step to digging a hole is making sure you have the proper digging equipment. This means you should not be using a shovel for your driveway, but rather a shovel for the dirt. You can get these shovels at any Lowe's or Home Depot near you. Also, Price Choppers and Walmarts tend to have them in the gardening section. Notice how I said this was for dirt. This is because you can't dig holes on just any surface. You must dig holes on sand and dirt and nothing else. If you were to make a hole, let's say on this roof, you would be making a hole, not digging a hole. You also can't dig a hole on a porch, which is made out of wood, not dirt. Again, that would be making a hole, not digging a hole. This AC unit, making a hole. This old fence, making a hole. This driveway, making a hole. Now that we've established what is making a hole and what is digging a hole, it is time for step 3, to find a good place to dig. Now that we've made it to a place with plentiful amounts of dirt to choose from, there are 3 main things you want to look for. 1, vegetation. 2, moss. And 3, water sources. Number 1, vegetation. We want to choose a spot that is away from as much vegetation as we can get. The reason for this is because the closer we are to said vegetation, the more amount of roots and problems we will occur when we are digging our hole. Number 2, moss. Moss is Mother Nature's way of trying to decay whatever is covered in said moss back into dirt, which means there's not going to be a lot of dirt where we dig, so we're going to run into many issues. Number 3, water sources. Water sources are what vegetation wants to grow their roots towards. So whenever there's water, there's most likely going to be a big, thick tree root or other shrubbery roots trying to branch out towards the water, so they will always be in your way. So you want to dig away from water sources, away from vegetation, and away from any moss. And then, good digging. Here we have a large oak tree. This tree is very big and needs a lot of nutrients in order to support its giant mass. Therefore, its roots will be spread everywhere, and wherever you dig near this tree, roots will appear. See, I just made a hole on this moss, and I met with various amounts of rubble, and I can see the tree roots sticking out. So this is not a good place to dig. Now, although this area does have small trees, it will not play a big factor in us digging our hole. The reason why you want to stay away from large amounts of vegetation is because typically with large amounts of vegetation, there also comes very thick roots that come from larger vegetation species. However, as we see, there's not many large trees around here that we saw earlier. Also, I have cleared out some of the leaves and I see absolutely no moss, which means there's not going to be a lot of large objects in our way. Also, take into mind that this is New York State during the winter, almost near dusk. So you're going to want to dig a hole from a place that was covered in leaves, because the leaves will act like a blanket to the earth, making it ever so slightly easier to dig a hole. Now that we have concluded that this is a good spot to dig, I will then show you how to properly dig without injuring most or any of yourself. First, you're going to put the shovel head side down. You're not going to want to dig like this. You might pick up a few branches like I did, but that's not going to be digging a hole. Again, so you want to place the shovel head side down. Want to place 1 foot, not both, 1 foot. There's 2 edges, so you can swap feet in case you get tired. Place 1 foot, push down with 1 foot, then squat, push the shovel backwards, and then grab from the neck and not jump, but stand up. You are not going to be wanting to use your back for this because it's going to get very tired and sore very easily. Your legs are a lot stronger and thicker than your back. So you're going to want to make your hole as big as you want it to with just your back. Now, as you dig your hole, you want to make sure you set the debris aside to fill it up back later. Because even if you're just potting a plant or burying a family member, the hole has to be filled somehow. And typically, you're not filling the hole by buying new dirt. If that was the case for everything, there'd be no more dirt. So make sure you set aside what you've dug in one area. Make sure it's loose, so not packed to the floor. If it's packed to the floor, you're not gonna be able to get all of it. It's just gonna be little chunks. Anyway, I'm gonna dig this hole as big as I wanted to. Now, I'm not yet done digging the hole, but I did encounter some pretty thick roots of trees. So, when you encounter a very thick root that you cannot break by twisting the shovel, you're going to take the side of the shovel, square it up, and just like an axe, you're going to chop. And just like that, you have broken up the big root. Now you can keep on digging your hole with less problems. It's important to remember that as you're digging your hole, there's going to be different densities and weights with each scoop you do. This is due to your angle, the depth of the dirt, and the fact that dirt is not entirely made up of dirt. Instead, it's sometimes made up of dirt, silt, gravel, clay. All of these different materials will lead you to have different weights as you pick up your shovel. It's getting dark, and I want to head home for dinner. So, let's recap of how to dig a hole. Number 1, make sure you have proper attire. That means good clothing and equipment. Number 2, the type of equipment. You want to make sure you have a digging shovel, not a shovel that you use to shovel snow off your driveway. Number 3, the location. If you do not pick the right location, you'll have to deal with a lot of stones, roots, and other various debris. And number 4, ensuring you have the safest and least fatiguing method to shovel and dig your holes. And number 5, make sure to fill your hole.